Welcome back, my beautiful friends. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. In our Hello Open Metaverse by Animoca Brands, we're chatting with Joseph DeAcetis, men's fashion and style expert, CEO and founder of Potro Menswear. Today, he's joined by Vincent Quan, professor and department chair, fashion business management at FIT SUNY Korea. We're chatting all about where fashion is heading, how far it's come, and how it fits into Web 3.0. The fashion industry is cashing in on the metaverse, using the platform to reach new markets and promote its wares. In last March, the world witnessed the first ever Metaverse Fashion Week. 4 days of runway shows and panel discussions hosted in the 3D virtual world Decentraland. There's a lot of buzz surrounding the metaverse, which I loosely define as a hyper-interactive, creative digital environment where people work, play, socialize, and now shop. While the metaverse itself remains in its infancy, there's plenty of interest in its potential. For brands and for the broader fashion industry, it could well offer new opportunities to engage Gen Z and other tech-savvy younger consumers. Case in point, Gucci Garden in the Roblox gaming metaverse saw 19 million visitors. Other fashion players are eyeing the $180 billion gaming industry, which attracts more than 3 billion players globally each year, especially given the appeal of engaging with and building communities in games and other virtual worlds. There's definitely gold in them digital hills. And here to chat fashion and metaverse are my experts at hand, Joseph DeAcetis and Vincent Quan. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
Lots of amazing things taking place in the metaverse. Vincent, I will start with you. Okay, so let's look at it overall. Gaming is increasingly an extension of the real world, and with the pandemic supercharging participation, it's become a prime target for fashion brands. All right, Ralph Lauren, for instance, partnered with South Korean social network app Zepeto to create a virtual fashion collection where users could dress their avatars in exclusive products or appearance-altering, what we call skins. What do you say to this? And is there actual profit for brands to be made in the metaverse?
Well, I'll be frank with you. I'm a slight gamer myself. And when you put on skins, it's who you are. So having the ability actually to, use or buy different digital versions of skins is a huge advantage. And for the branded world, it creates an entirely new revenue stream. From physical to digital. And if you can think of it from that perspective, it's no wonder why, especially the luxury brands, have pushed forth. Historically, luxury brands always go first in terms of the innovation. And from that perspective, they've seen the results of such forays through NFTs, skins, avatars, and other digital assets that have been now sold via the metaverse.
Amazing that you brought that up, because I'm going to be talking about NFTs in just a bit. But and it's true for the right now, for the most part, digital fashion is mainly being used as a marketing tool to really redirect attention to actual goods by fashion brands. But the potential is limitless. Joseph, artificial intelligence and augmented reality could open up opportunities for new business models that leverage virtual fashion. You know this better than anyone else. Technology that allows for 360-degree view has already been used to present seasonal collections through online showrooms, and avatars of models have walked 3D virtual runways. Where is fashion heading, and could brands be overlooking a huge demographic and generation by not jumping into the metaverse?
Where a brand's headed, first of all, is where there's it's a global universe now, and through the internet, and the AI and the avatars have made it much more interesting. It's ignited a new audience, and that audience, for the most part, is the Gen Z audience. And fashion brands should, in my opinion, become part of this, because it's the wave of the future. Seeing the clothing 360, even on an avatar, I believe it's Bella Hadid made an avatar now. You know, she was the one that recently wore the spray-on dress. So there's an avatar of her now. A lot of celebrities are joining on board. Paris Hilton, Lindsay Lohan, even Pharrell has done a virtual reality sneaker that it's an NFT. You can buy pieces of that sneaker. Or Chris Brown, it's one of the best-selling Nike sneakers overnight in the millions of dollars with an NFT.
Phenomenal, just fantastic where we're headed. And ultimately, gentlemen, I think the interesting question isn't really about profit, but more about how the metaverse might radically affect the way consumers dress, shop, and really think about fashion. Will we all end up wandering around Blade Runner style virtual cities, clad in winged dresses and tentacle headpieces? I don't know, but definitely there's a lot of buzz right now, and people want to jump on board. Let's go back to NFTs. Vincent, non-fungible tokens, or what we call NFTs, are one aspect of virtual environments that have seen an explosion of interest. NFTs are unique crypto assets whose authenticity and ownership are verified on blockchains and are bought, sold, and exchanged in the metaverse, often with cryptocurrency. And if you look at stats back in 2021, although this isn't fashion related, but still very much art world related, an NFT created by digital artist Mike Winkelmann, also known as Beeple, was sold at Christie's auction house for a record breaking $69.3 million. So for the fashion world, if you look at in comparison, right now, NFTs can provide real use cases. They can be used to authenticate products or serve as collectible pieces in their own right. And in the past year, there's been a wave of engagement, I mean, particularly among luxury players and via the gaming universe, which you're familiar with. Louis Vuitton launched a video game with collectible NFTs, partially designed by Beeple for its 200th anniversary. Vincent, talk to me. Why is the fashion industry suddenly trying to appeal to gamers?
Look, there's physical and there's digital, as we had stated before. And if you consider this whole new frontier, we'll call it, the metaverse and its related digital assets, it propels any brand to consider a brand new, totally from scratch, zero revenue stream. You can create, and art and fashion always have gone hand in hand. To a certain degree, NFT, aside from people, the NFTs in terms of art have a place in a person's portfolio or a person's wallet, digital wallet. And the point being that these fashion brands are seeing it, they're testing it, they're cautious, okay, and the other players are sitting on the sidelines waiting and watching to see the result. The most important thing is it's going to take time as more and more consumers, latch on to this new frontier, the metaverse, and its related digital assets. But it's promising.
It's very
Very promising.
promising. Yeah, and the metaverse is also, to Joseph's point, changing the way we understand fashion. Now you can move freely between different 3D worlds and communities with the help of virtual and augmented reality. I mean, how fascinating is that? And currently it's being used as a catch-all term to describe everything from luxury labels teaming up with game developers to outfit players. I mean, listen, think Balenciaga and Fortnite, think Ralph Lauren and Roblox, or Lacoste and Minecraft. These are the types of offerings that we're seeing appeal to the newer generation. And it's also increasingly covering brand experimentation in hybrid collections, like Dolce & Gabbana's 9-piece physical digital capsule show last year made nearly $6 million. I mean, this is nothing the fashion industry's ever seen before. So, Joseph, I'm going to ask you this question. Digital designs are not yet big earners compared to physical clothing, because that's still fact, right? Look at Dolce & Gabbana. They still reported overall sales of more than $1 billion between 2020 and 2021. And that was still, they were hampered by racism scandals and the pandemic. They still came out winning. But the fashion world certainly sees the metaverse as a potential lucrative new market, like you mentioned. And digital fashion industry could be worth $50 billion by the year 2030. So the overall worth of the fashion sector by the end of the decade, according to market intelligence platform CB Insights, places it at more than $3 trillion. You are the CEO of a men's clothing line called Potro. Do you see your brand heading into the metaverse?
I do. And there's several reasons I do. One is that the metaverse is not only, if you talk about revenue, that's one stream that we can talk about, but there's also brand awareness with the metaverse, and that's global. So the brand awareness counts for reaching customers that could not be reached otherwise. So certainly, and when I launched Potro, being I was the fashion director at Forbes, it's really a great question that you asked me, because I photographed Matthew Rosedock, who's the CEO and founder of Coinbase, and I asked him, when I was so interested in our conversations, I asked him if I could make an NFT of Potro, and this has to be at least 5 years ago. It was way before, and it was just a simple conversation, but it kept my mind racing. And I pushed back on it, like Vincent said. Brands are not going to jump on immediately until they see what's happening before them. You're going to see the brands and designers that jump onto this first. It's like the market, and then see if it's trending up, and then other brands will do it. I certainly see a future in creating AI and avatars in the metaverse for Potro and branding it out that way. And also, one last thing I believe about the metaverse and branding a collection such as Potro, which is a menswear brand, a mid-tier luxury brand, is that after a certain extent, consumers are overwhelmed with celebrity faces and endorsements. An avatar can be, it takes it to a new place. And that avatar can be, he could be trending towards sustainability, which will reach to the consumers. He could be trending to different styles and almost have superpower heroes, superpower forces in him to bring the consumer in.
Yeah, I love the way you just put that. There's so many incredible use cases and ways of engaging with the community. You know, if you look at what Vincent just touched upon, the NFTs, physical garments can be authenticated as NFTs and have a digital twin. So garments minted as NFTs, which we call these non-fungible tokens, are digital assets registered with unique data stored on the blockchain. And this means that even though an image of a virtual dress could be seen or even saved by anyone on the internet, the person who purchased it, whether as a unique one-off or part of a limited run, can prove their ownership and subsequently sell or trade it, with the value increasing or decreasing, just as with a physical garment. So this is completely revolutionary. We have about 2 minutes. Vincent, any closing thoughts on this?
Yeah, the other comment I'd make about digital assets is they're forever. Clothing has a lifespan. It degrades, it breaks down, it fades, it goes out of style, etc., and comes back into style. But digital assets last a lifetime. So you own a property, and talk about sustainability, that is out there, yes, in the metaverse, but it's yours to have and to own for a lifetime unless you sell it. And it can be resold and recorded via the blockchain. So great things coming forth on the metaverse and fashion.
Yeah, that's some good food for thought there. Well, listen, we are at the end of our segment, my dear friends. Thank you so much for coming on. Vincent, what a pleasure. Joseph, you know how I feel about you.
Thank you so much, Xenia. Thank you for having us.
Well, listen, guys, we're not getting rid of real fashion anytime soon. Not everyone is going to be enthused by the idea of dressing an avatar or buying a jacket that doesn't exist. People do still need clothes to wear to work, to go out, to live their corporal lives. However, the metaverse potentially holds interesting solutions to some of the more real-world problems created by the fashion industry, especially, as Vincent put it, when it comes to sustainability. That was our Hello Open Metaverse segment, brought to you by Animoca Brands. Check out Joseph DeAcetis' line at potro.com, and you can also check him out on the gram at shop.potro, and definitely check out his column at stylelujo.com. Now, you definitely have to check out Vincent Quan on the other side of the world at vincentgquan.com, or on social media at Vincent Quan, and you could head to FITNYC.edu to check out all the cool stuff that he's doing as a professor at the Institute. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Animoca Brands. As a worldwide industry leader in digital entertainment, blockchain, and digital property rights, Animoca Brands plays a key role in the future growth of the open metaverse. During unstable times like these in burgeoning industries similar to blockchain, it's important to realize that blockchain can and will survive and eventually flourish, and industry-leading companies like Animoca Brands will guide the transformation into the future. Animoca Brands will keep building a better and fairer Web3 ecosystem, Create impact for better and bring true digital property rights to all internet users through NFTs and the open metaverse. For more information and to become part of the excitement, go to AnimocaBrands.com. That's AnimocaBrands.com.
Welcome back, my beautiful friends. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Welcoming back to our Metropolitan Lifestyle segment brought to you by Metropolitan Magazine. We're chatting with the amazing Joseph DeAcetis, men's fashion and style expert, CEO and founder of Potro.com. Today, he's joined by Vincent Quan, professor and department chair at FIT SUNY Korea. Today, we're chatting all about fashion trends and where we are headed in 2023. Welcome back to the show, gentlemen.
Thank you, Zen.
All right. Joseph, let's start with you. We've had some crazy fashion patterns and fashion trends take place in 2022. 2023 seems like it's a whole new vibe. You do this as a living. You are the expert. Tell us, where are we heading? What are the new fashion trends?
Well, there's men's and women's. We'd have to divide up first. But for women, first of all, there's color trends. And the color trends are really bold. They're going from bold and pastels. We have the gamut. So there's colors such as fuchsia, which is really big for the first offset of 2023. Fuchsia is really big, and green is big as well. A solid green. And green, they say, is in because mankind, green and blues are in because mankind wants to get back to nature. We're in this digital world, and we're very attracted to the colors of nature. So green for the forest and blue for the sea, of course. Neutrals are in. Pastels are in. For women's wear, a big trend is mini skirts. The micro mini is back, and the micro skirt is back, showing a lot of leg for spring 2023. There's also elevated utility, which is like you would have like instead of a jumpsuit, a satin jumpsuit, silk satin jumpsuit, or instead of cargo pants for women, you would have sheer cargo pants with interesting modified utility pockets. Utility is really big as well, and I could go on forever, so I'm sure Vincent wants to chime in.
Hey, Vincent, what are your thoughts here from across the globe? You do this all day, every day.
We do it all day, every day. We watch what people wear, and we do competitive shopping all the time. But Joseph's dead on, and we would be remiss if we didn't mention the color of the year for Pantone, which is Viva Magenta. It's a crimson red. And you can look for it as early as this spring right now, coming on, in stores and online. And certainly that's just one area where the trends are going. The other interesting point to couple in tandem with what Joseph said regarding hemlines, there's a hemline index. I don't know if you're familiar with it, theory that says as the country goes into recession, hemlines go one way, and if it's a robust economy, hemlines go the other way. So I'd be interested to see as the economy develops into early 2023, which direction the hemlines are going to go, and if it does indeed mirror the hemline index theory.
This makes me so nervous right now. We're going to have a whole bunch of scantily clad people running around. This cannot be good.
Well,
look, then, sheer, right? Sheer is in.
I'll be one of them.
Well, sheer and micro minis and micro shorts it makes people happy to see that walking around. So that is an uplift of the fashion going into spring 2023. It's really on trend.
And with that said, that basically means that the consumer and hopefully everyone's optimistic about the 2023 year and this coming quarter. And that means hopefully that the world and the U.S. will avoid recession. And that's what it means. So we hope that is indeed correct and the hemline index remains intact.
I love how this just ended. And of course, talking about WR listeners, we're all about checking those trends for politics. And of course, if you could tie it into fashion, well, we'll take it.
I also think, if I can interject, is sustainability is what we're calling the hybrid sustainability. And also the pop-ups, we're calling them hybrid pop-ups now. Pop-ups have have QR codes that you could scan, and cameras or videos that you can make your own video, which also creates brand awareness by the consumer putting that on social media. And even as low as, I shouldn't say low, but not luxury, as a pair of Levi's or Wrangler jeans being made sustainably and having sustainable attributes to them. And as we talked before about NFTs and full disclosure, you can see where that cotton was grown and how that cotton was grown, and if it is sustainable all the way through the packaging of the product, and of course the manufacturing of the product. So I think sustainability, eco-friendly, is a big trend for 2023 with the consumers, especially the Gen Z consumer. That's who the world's being left to after, and younger. So there's a big push for these companies, manufacturers, and packaging to be sustainable.
Well, without a doubt, well said. I'm so happy that you correlated the two together.
Yeah.
And to add to Joseph's point, if you wouldn't mind, the bigger challenge with sustainability is really, honestly, the integrity of what sustainability is. It's extremely difficult right now to trace, comments made on a hang tag that this was created from sustainable fibers. And I think the industry and the world has to do a better job of really identifying a standard by which you can trace every element along the supply chain through the blockchain. But that will take a while, frankly speaking. And the world has got a ways to go on that.
Well, that's
we
a
wont
great
mention the
use
term
case.
greenwashing.
No, you're right, but that's a great use case of the blockchain, and that's where we are headed. So we will be able to track this on a verifiable, via verifiable ledgers, and there will be no riffraff and feudalism and bad actors in between telling you that something is, organically sourced, and information that's later on you disprove, right? So you never know where your products are coming from. We just did a segment on made in the USA and the importance of buying American made products. Not that it should be across the board for all fashion brands, but if you do look at the economy, when you look at the way that the buying patterns are, and that now you could purchase absolutely anything on the internet from across the world to different continents and different currencies, and you have these super apps that are just checking you out, right? And you can basically buy anything you want instantly 24/7. We've seen a huge shift. This is where now you're catering to a different demographic, but you're also looking at the blockchain, and you're looking at who can you reach? You have 1.7 billion people in this world that are unbanked and or underbanked. But you know what they all have? They all have a smartphone. And those 1.7 billion people that don't have access to credit card, a social security number, all have access now to a banking app on their phone. And a lot of these gamers in third world countries are making $5 a day. Now, $5 a day to you and me might not mean anything, but to somebody in Southeast Asia, in Venezuela, a woman feeding her family, $5 a day is a lot of money. So when they cash in their tokens, these gamers, and they cash in their tokens and they convert their tokens on the blockchain to fiat currency simply with the use of a smartphone through these fintech super apps, now they could purchase anything. They just became a target customer for you. Now you could sell them skins. Ralph Lauren could now reach the impoverished, but guess what? If they buy the skins and they look cooler in their game, they advance in the levels. So it's almost like this soft dance between the brands, the consumers, the gamers, and it all kind of works together in what we were calling the rise of the creator economy, where you don't need governments to come and intervene and give people the approval of, yes, you can have this bank account, or no, you cannot. This is power to the people, essentially.
Absolutely. And a friend of mine lost, of course, with Bitcoin, which was at 50 something or 39 maybe, and now it's down to 16. But he lost all his money there. He left his money in there in the Bitcoin, but where he gained was in Ethereum. He bought NFTs, and he bought one design that was that Pharrell had a part of. It wasn't the full design that was Pharrell's, but he has made a significant amount of revenue by these NFTs. He lost everywhere else in just the simple investing of Bitcoin, but he gained tremendously in purchasing these NFTs or pieces of the final product.
Yeah, yeah. Well, listen, it's a whole new world out there, definitely evolving, still in its infancy. But what we know is that Web3, it will be the new iteration of the internet. At this point right now, we have to follow it carefully. We want to advocate for regulation, and we also want to have as much inclusion as possible so that everybody could see and sit at the table and be part of a brand's growth. And that will be, very, very easy to do in Web3 versus Web 1 and 2. We are out of time, my dear friends. Vincent, what a pleasure meeting you and chatting with you. Joseph, thank you for bringing on a dear friend, and hopefully I can have you guys on soon again.
Okay, great. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Sen, and have a happy, healthy one. And we look forward to connecting on on email and otherwise.
Absolutely, you got it. That was our Metropolitan Lifestyle segment brought to you by Metropolitan Magazine. Do check out Joseph DeAcetis at Potro.com. You can also head to the gram at shop.potro and check out his style column at stylelujo.com. Definitely check out Vincent Quan on the gram at Vincent Quan, on his website at vincentgquan.com, or you could head to fitnyc.edu for all the cool stuff he's doing as a professor over there at the Institute. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this.